I'm going to let him come. He's anxious to share what God's done for him.
Bless him, Lord.
Appreciate him being here today. Amen. You want to come up?
Thank you, Pastor. I've come here today to give a testimony of thanks. Thanks to your pastor who visited me several times when I was in the hospital. And thanks to this church. I noticed on your bulletin that you still have my name listed and are still lifting me up in prayer. And I appreciate that so very much. The bulletin says, I'm recovering from a brain bleed issue. Well, I did have a brain bleed issue, but I'm here this morning to tell you that God answered your prayers, your pastor's prayers, and the prayers of other people. God has touched my body, and God has healed me. Amen. I'll be the first to admit, folks, that I don't deserve the least of His mercy. But for some reason, God looked down on me last November the 8th, and He decided that He was going to spare my life and let me live. On November the 8th of the last year, I was found in the backyard, face down, and unconscious and unresponsive. I was airlifted to a hospital in Asheville, North Carolina, and when I was examined there, it was determined that I had a subarachnoid bleed, which only 1 in 5 people survive. So that began a 10-week-long stay in the hospital for me. The doctors there decided that I had a subarachnoid brain bleed, and only about 1 in 5 people survive that. As a matter of fact, the doctors got together and decided that I would not live until the morning. And so they told my family to call everybody in and let them know that if they wanted to see me, they needed to come to the hospital in order to do that. But after the doctors, the good doctors, it was a good hospital, good doctors, after the good doctors gave their diagnosis, then the great physician showed up. Amen. God is still in the miracle working business. Amen. If you don't believe in miracles, you look right here, because right here is a miracle that God performed in my life. I've heard about miracles, read about miracles, talked about miracles all my life, but now I know what it is to experience a miracle of God. The doctors told my family and my friends who had gathered at the hospital, said he won't live till the morning. So call all the family in, and if they want to see him, call all the family in and let them be here, because he will not make it to the morning. Well, the morning come, and I was still there, because the great physician showed up on the scene. Amen. God is still a miracle-working God. Amen. God still has the power to touch and to heal. And whenever it is His will to do so, it is no problem for God to step in and do that. It was determined that I had a subarachnoid brain bleed, and that I would not probably survive that. But the next morning came, and I was still among the living. And then the next morning came, and then finally I made it to the end of the week, which they said I wouldn't make it till the end of the week. But I learned later that the church here and other churches were praying for me. And I learned later that only 20% of the people survive what was going on in my brain. Yes. And I'll be the first to admit, folks, I don't deserve the least of God's mercies. But I'm glad He doesn't give us what we deserve. I'm glad He gives us what we don't deserve. And He did that when He sent His Son to die on the cross for you and me. He sent us. We didn't deserve that. None of us will ever be able to deserve what Jesus has done for us. But thank God in His grace, in His mercy, in His love, He did that. He did that. And I want to thank the church here. I want to thank the pastor. I want to thank every one of you individually who prayed for me, because God did a miracle. He absolutely did a miracle. There's no doubt, no question, no debate over it whatsoever. God did a miracle. Even the doctors, who sometimes don't like to give God the credit that He deserves, even the doctors said it was a miracle that I was able to survive, and not just to survive, but to be able to do what I'm doing today, stand before you and thank you for praying, and to thank God for the miracle that He has given me. I appreciate your pastor so much. He is a very faithful man. He's faithful to pray, faithful to visit, and I appreciate him so much, and I appreciate every single one of you who prayed for me, because without prayer, I would not be able to be here today. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your prayers, and I would appreciate if you continue to pray that God will have His way in my life. Amen. Thank you very much.
Holly, could you come up in just a moment? Yeah, you're the only, yeah. I remember when you texted me that day, I think it was on a Saturday, and told me things didn't look good. Can you give it what did you think when you got there and you saw him?
I was afraid.
When you being a nurse and what they were telling you, you knew that things weren't very good.
No, it's grim.
Very grim.
Yeah.
Very grim. And I remember coming down and seeing him with all the tubes, and they had to drain his brain, I believe. And your hair looks a lot better now, Rod.
He's got a better haircut, doesn't he?
They shaved my head twice.
And then he went to rehab, and then things started changing more and more and more. And I know that you have been there helping them and being with him, and I just appreciate that.
Yeah. He's, from the very beginning, I just, the diagnosis itself scared me to death. And then, we started praying, and things started changing, and not just in him, but in me and in so many other people that this has helped. Spiritually, it's
because in reality, seeing him when I saw him and you saw him, we know it didn't look very good.
No, it did not. But not only did he survive, but he can have a very productive and fulfilled life.
Yeah. I need to remind you of something if you haven't forgot something. I talked to you the other day. I said, do you remember years ago I used to ask you to preach and never would?
Yeah.
And now you said you'll come back and preach. Is that correct?
I will.
Okay. I got a whole witness of church saying that.
He got
you. I will definitely do that, Pastor.
Okay. He used to pastor. He's a minister, and I believe God's going to revive all that and bless him.
I do.
Amen. God bless you. Thank you very much. We'll keep praying for you.